Are you still treating your nervous system as if it is a broken machine, as if it needs more fixing, more healing, that your past, your experiences, everything that you've created in your life somehow went messy and faulty, and it absolutely needs you to place your attention on it 24/7, almost like it's a full-time job? This video is for you, Queen. Let's drop in. So many women come to me on the frenzy, like they've taken so many courses, so many programs, so much evolution, they've read all the books, they've become obsessed with healing and embodiment practices and tools to regulate their nervous system. They can explain every single thing to me to the dime detail, and I get it. Of course, you're a super lucid woman, you know how to get yourself the information that you need and require, and you're freaking amazing, right? You're intelligent, you're smart, you know exactly how to get things. But here's the caveat to all of this self-help technique. And even though there's a massive positive impact with that, there's also this thing that I have seen women sort of stumble upon, and they can loop for years and years and years in self-regulating techniques to the point where when they look around, there's no one, right? They enter into this empty life where they've unplugged from all of the places and all of the people in their life who were toxic or dysregulated or just not conscious or not spiritual enough. And by the time they realize they've spent years, decades into self-development practices, and they've actually not moved a dime when it comes to internal holding of life. It's really sad to witness this. It's broken my heart so many times because very often what these women need isn't more tools, it isn't more practices, it isn't more knowing. They already have all of that. What they truly need is the capacity to lean into their life, especially when there are high stakes, and to stop pretending that things happening in their lives somehow require more of their attention and more of their time, because it very often really doesn't. I feel like this is also the crux to self-help, and people ask me this all the time, like, well, Lizzie, you tell us not to do tools, but then you are talking about joining your programs. Well, yeah, if you've been in my programs, you will know that you actually will have your very own pace when you move through them. And that isn't because tools aren't amazing. They truly are, and I will offer you many tools. But the thing is, it isn't about doing all of them all the time, 24/7, and becoming obsessed over them. This practice and like my methodology has always been about plugging deeper into your relationships, plugging deeper into your life, actually moving in the mundane world while being fully lucid. And that is actually the place where women become wildly magnetic. Only yesterday, we completed a call where a woman literally couldn't believe what was happening in her life. She's pulled in a heart-centered man. She doesn't even know where he came from, because in fact, he was already in her orbit all along, but somehow she was missing the mark. And that isn't because she somehow wasn't intelligent or smart enough. It's simply that her energy was so fixated and obsessed over needing to heal more, needing to regulate more, needing to create more sessions for herself where she could go and, release trauma. And there's a place for that, but the women who come into my world have done all of that, and it hasn't actually gotten them the results, and that has a reason. It's because that obsessive compulsive experience of them moving through all of these self-help regulating systems actually created more exacerbation than they actually really want to confess. And when they come to me and we start to move the needle in the right place, where they actually land in their lives, they're actually leaning into their embodiment, they're actually leaning into being with life, being in their relationships, and holding higher and higher stakes, what actually tends to happen is their nervous system starts to relax all on its own, because they have a framework through which they can really see themselves in the world. They become lucid, magnetic women, and that is what actually yields all of the power towards them. And so this is when you actually realize that you've never been a broken machine. Your manifestation has actually been working. It's just that you have sort of been moving in the undercurrents where there's something wrong with you, where you have not enough agency, where you're not sovereign enough, where you're simply inadequate. And let's face it, most coaching and most healing practices and practitioners that I'm seeing in this space have been teaching from that place of making you feel inadequate. And your very deeply ingrained programming of being inadequate actually speaks to a very deep primal place in your body that very often is stemming from your upbringing as a girl in this world where, let's face it, for centuries, for thousands of years, we've been made to feel inadequate. We've been made to feel that we have to change things about ourselves. We have to be more or be less, and we have to continuously adjust to a world that is continuously communicating to us that we're just not right. And so this is really the place where the interruption of the pattern is the highest, is when you unplug yourself from this denigrating experience of being inadequate, and you interrupt that pattern and you make yourself adequate, and you move in the directions that are in alignment with your desires, that are really connected and plugged into your authentic expression and your experience. And this is when you stop overperforming, just like my client was in relationships. You stop questioning your desires, you stop questioning yourself altogether, and instead begin to become curious and playful, and you begin to move in these magnetic undercurrents that are so juicy, so delightful, so full of brilliance and aliveness. And that is the best addiction ever. It's when you become addicted to your life. And that is the place that we lead you into in the Elevated Woman Method. If you feel the calling to join us, now's your time. Sending you so much love. Cheers to your amazing life.